Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Sorry, I'm learning how to use this as we go here.
Am I loud enough?
Yep, perfect.
All right.
We're waiting on Trevor and Jimmy to get in here.
Yeah, they're both kind of slow, so.
Well, we can't let that happen. I disappeared for a second. Am I back?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're waiting on.
So you,
Well, they're not slow. I'm late. That's the problem.
well, they're a little slow.
If you if you turn your phone sideways, your picture will be better. I think. Maybe not.
Well, mine ain't flipping.
All right, we'll just stand it up. That's all right. We can see it. We know who you are. So we got some people in here. You guys are gonna have to bear with me. It's my first time ever doing this. So as you guys comment, this is my first time doing this. So as you guys comment, give me a second. I might have to look away. But what we're going to do tonight is we got Craig on here. Craig and Jimmy took second at Deer Creek. So we're going to talk to them guys a little bit how they fished, as well as, if you guys don't know, Craig helps. He's one of the people that help run this thing. So any comments, question you guys have, be sure to put them on there, and we'll get to all of them. We're going to talk about kind of the future plans we have moving forward. We picked up another big sponsor today, so we're going to talk about that a little. Maybe even invite him on. He can talk a little bit about what he does. So, but yeah, this is the first show that we're kicking off this podcast with, and we're excited. We're excited for where this trail's going. We're excited for what we accomplished in the very first tournament.
Big time.
We're excited.
That's what I was going to say. How much gotten done in the last 2-3 weeks since you started? It's amazing. I've been in a lot of trails, and I've been part of a lot of trails, and none is like took off this fast. But you put in a lot of work, and it's quite amazing how much you put together in such little time.
Yeah,
so I only see this thing getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're gonna have a good showing this week at CJ Brown. I really do think so. I mean, I've got 21 boats that are confirmed right now. I think we're gonna get over 30 boats at CJ Brown.
But even if you got 20 boats at your second tournament, I mean, I feel like that's even a success. But it might be much better, like you're saying. But I'd still count it as good at 20 boats. And me and Jimmy were excited to be back into local Ohio tournaments again, because we've been out of it for a long time. It's what we started in, and we got out of it and did bigger tournaments that we had to travel. We were lucky if there was one in Ohio, but it's nice to be back home and doing these lakes again.
Well, and that's when I thought about this. I know I brought you and Joe Owens is the other person that helps make decisions on this. I know I brought you guys in late, and at first I was going to be Superman. I was going to run this by myself, but I understood the importance of not giving all of that power to one person. So when I brought you on and I brought Joe on, and we could all put all of our ideas together, that was what it was. That was my plan. You've got national trails that fish all over the country, and people spending $3,000 a week to go to Alabama and Tennessee, North Carolina. Why not make it cheaper for people to fish here at home? Why not give them that same national trail feel right here at home?
And I think that was a great choice on your part, because I told Jimmy, I was like, Corey's asking me to help out in this league he's starting, and I'm like, everything I've suggested to him is he's went with it. He hasn't even asked about it. He just went with it and said, okay. Instead of having one person's ideas, you put together three people's, and I think it's going to make for a tournament that people are going to like.
I agree, and it's not three people with the same interest either.
I
made the first set of rules, and then I sent them to you guys, and I said, "What do you think?" And we plucked away to
we bounced them back and forth. Yeah.
And then when I came up with the idea about the points race, I thought that really set it off. It's all the other points races. If you get first place, you get 100 points. You get second place, you get 99. Third, you get 98. I think allowing that gap between first and second, 100 points for first place, 90 points for second place, 85 points for third place. That just allows that gap in there. So when we get late in the run and we're down to the last couple tournaments, a guy that's sitting in third place really stands a chance to come back and win the thing.
Honestly, that's my favorite. I think that's my favorite part about how you're running this, because like I said, I've been in many local leagues and big leagues, and I've never had a point system like this. Most of the point system are almost identical, maybe a little different, but this really, pays off first and second place, which it should. And it makes it interesting, and it's going to make it fun down the run. Like, I really like that part of it. I think it was a great idea.
Yeah, it's well, it looks like we got the whole crew in here now.
The slow bus showed up.
Yeah.
I couldn't get the link to work.
Yeah,
Well,
me
I-
neither.
I sent the link out 5 minutes late, so I went to go get on StreamYard and it said that my permission to access Facebook was suspended. I'm like, well, that ain't gonna work.
Yeah, right before I got on, Jimmy called me and he's like, "Hey, is you going to send us a link or something?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just waiting for it."
But we were just talking about kind of the format that we've got set up. I know Trevor was out of town as we built this thing and as we put all the rules in place, so he wasn't really involved in that part. I wanted to bring Trevor on as the host for this podcast because he's already got a following. He's got people that was following him on the last podcast he hosted. I think he did a great job there. So
Oh
obviously,
yeah, he's the professional out of this group. Well, you too, but I mean, for this part of it, yeah, I'd say Trevor'd be our guy.
Yes.
So, with saying that, what all did we miss since the professional?
we were just talking about how I brought Jimmy and Joe in as the other two people to help me decide the rules and kind of where we stood on the points race. I don't know how much of that you've got to look over yet, but our points race is way different than anybody else's. How we award points.
First off, let me just say, I think that's a great idea that you got the three guys and not just one person making. You bounce stuff off each other's heads and all that good. There's not many trails like that.
That's what we were just talking about.
Wants to run it, and then what they say is final. I like having a committee, being able to get a committee perspective on it, and that way you don't just have one person in charge, and if the other guys don't agree with that one person, then we take a vote, and that's the way to do it.
I agree.
Right off the rip, man, that's a good idea.
The day we did that, we had talked several times leading up to him putting the final rules up. And when he did, the three of us were on the phone together and all, bounced the ideas back and forth. And we all agreed on every rule and then he would type it down through the whole thing. And I just thought that was a really good way to do it and make it solid.
Right.
I'm going to interject here for 1 second. Daniel here. I fished with Daniel last night on his brand new Sea Arc. I had to teach him a little bit about catfishing last night, but he's actually stepped up as our headline sponsor this year for All Ohio Flooring, and he's going to be covering. He's going to buy the equipment we need for the scales. He's got some lights he's going to give us. He's covering all the plaques for the whole year, as well as he's going to fill in if I can't find an event sponsor to put up the $200 that's going into every event. He's going to cover that for me, so that I've made already substantial monetary donations myself to get this thing up and running, and he stepped in to kind of help me out, so that it wasn't all coming out of my pocket. So that's who that is. I wanted to say thanks to him. He made a huge commitment to me on the phone today, and I believe him and I are probably sitting on the river here in a couple hours, actually.
For sure, that's huge. That's really big. I don't know if he can hear us, but thank you. That's big time.
So I wanted to just get him in there, but Trevor, I don't know how these things go from one step to the other. So why don't you take it away and get us going here?
But this thing is, I think whoever's hosting it's got weak signal.
I'm fine. I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, weak signal.
I can see everyone fine. It's just it's not very loud though.
That's way different on my end. What about the guys? What about the guys in the comments? Are you guys having problems hearing and seeing us? Jimmy, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can't hear hardly anything.
Craig, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
And you can't hear me, Trevor?
I mean, I can, but it's breaking up. Like I can't tell what's what.
I think it's you, man. Everybody
Yeah, then
says
must
they
be
can
your
hear and see
connection.
us. They can hear and see you, Trevor. There he goes. It's him. He had problems before too. All right, well, my wife says it's fine on her end too. So, all right, guys, everybody's funneling in here. Trevor's got to figure out his internet situation over there, but I'll get us kicked off here. Let's run down through the chat real fast. We got William Roberts in here. Welcome in, William. Austin Harding's in here. Daniel, I don't remember how to say his last name. He told me last night, but I can't pronounce it. Hunter Wright's in here. Adam Dean. Andy Ward's in here. Guys, welcome in. Like I said, this is our first episode. Trevor's going to be the host. We got to figure out his internet situation, but I'll kick it off here. First off, I just wanted to say thanks for everybody who supported and helped grow this thing in the 3 weeks that we've got it going here. Jimmy and Craig, they both fished the last event as a team. They took second place right behind Hunter Wallace and Hunter Wright, who came into the scales in dramatic fashion there at the end. Cooler floating away, boat couldn't get on the trailer, but I was happy to see those guys pull off the win. So why don't you guys kind of walk us through what you guys had going on at Deer Creek the other night?
Well, first of all, we needed one of their fish to swim out of that cooler.
Didn't we all?
That was my first time actually fishing on Deer Creek. The last time I tried to go to a tournament there was about 10 years ago. And about 10 minutes before we got there on 22, a tire flew off of the trailer of my boat, and my boat came off and flipped upside down and blocked 22.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I hadn't been back since. But this time it worked out. We made it there in one piece. And you didn't have any time, we never pre-fished it, so we just checked the map out, looked for depths and some stuff and structure, and we were going to do some dragging, but we decided we'd try some anchor spots first, and realized that it was going to be a patient night, one of the nights where you're just going to have to wait and make sure you get the bites that you get, and that's pretty much how the whole night played out. I think we had a total of 6 catchable bites, and we were lucky enough to catch 5 of them.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
I know,
But they were all good fish.
Right.
Yeah.
When we had checked in with you there in the middle of the night, you and I were both struggling. So,
Oh yeah.
And then it kind of turned up for us too until that rain hit. And then once it started raining, it was over. There was nothing after the rain for us.
Well, we were actually lucky to keep we were about 1 fish an hour, and it stayed that way almost to the very end. I think we caught our 5th fish with under an hour to go. So
we were dragging the main channel that runs along 207, which I figured would be everybody's plan, so I didn't do it. But when everybody took off and went right, I was like, I guess we're just going to drag that main channel. And it was kind of crazy. Tony Zakovich was set up in that same channel, and he was anchored. And every time we passed him, we'd at least double. Every time we got right beside him, we'd at least catch 2 fish. And
that's what I was going to ask you. Did you guys catch a bunch of fish that night?
We did until the rain. I mean, we probably caught 15 fish. Chris Minahan was my partner. He's a kayak guy because Trevor was on vacation, and we were dragging away. I think Trevor's trying to work his way back in here. We were dragging away, and it was a good night. We caught a lot of fish. But once that rain hit, it completely shut us down. Which, I mean, I saw so many boats leave right after that rain. I felt so bad because the forecast said the rain was gone. It was like a 5% chance of rain that night.
Oh, it was a pocket, a cell about the size of the lake that just happened to go right over top of us and just unload 3 different times.
Did you get your internet figured out there, Skippy?
I don't know if it was the internet or what it was. I don't know. It was just, I don't know. But I hope it works now.
Jimmy and Craig are talking about what they did on Deer Creek to take second place. I don't know if you missed it or not, but the first time they ever went to fish Deer Creek, tire blew on a boat or something, flipped the whole boat off the trailer. They totaled their boat 10 years ago, headed to Deer Creek. So they were never going back until I invited them back the other weekend.
The best thing is after we flipped the boat, it was literally sideways, blocking both lanes of 22. Well, there happened to be a farm. They were Mennonites, and they came down with a tractor with big old forks on the side of it. Well, this guy was going to try to push it to the side of the road, and he was trying to get underneath of it, he stuck those forks completely through the side of my fiberglass boat. And he felt horrible, but I at that point I didn't care. I mean, it was completely totaled anyways. But yeah, because he didn't mean to, but yeah, he stuck it right through it.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
So yeah, that I hadn't
Thanks,
been
but
back
no
since.
thanks.
So let me hear when you guys are on the boat together. I know when Trevor and I are on the boat together, one of us tries to make all the decisions, and it ends up being one heck of a fight all night long. How's it go on your guys' boat?
Well, that actually, I tell you what, I think we got a system down to where it's always been the same, never really changed, and I think that's why it works. Like I don't think we've ever gotten a fight about deciding where to fish. We've gotten in fights and every other thing you can think about, but but not that. And a lot of times I'll do the research and come up with some decision spots that I like, and then I'll ask him, what I'll show him what I'm looking at, and I'll ask him what he thinks, and then we'll just decide. Both of us will decide where we want to go or what we want to try first, and then as the night goes on, anytime we want to change something, we'll both come up with what we're thinking, and we'll just agree and go for whatever. That's never been a fight or a problem.
That's how it's always been for us too, until Trevor went on vacation and I started dragging. Trevor didn't like
Yeah,
that.
the only fight we had is we drug all night in a tournament, and we passed up like 6 bridges with pillars and didn't fish a single bridge pillar on anchor. And we
Yeah, he's a
drug.
bridge pillar. He's a bridge. He's down for every bridge pillar we pass.
Hey, you know what? We've won a lot of tournaments and caught a lot of fish dragging. I do like it, but my number one way to fish is anchored. And so if I can catch fish anchored, that's the way I'm going to do it. But if I need to troll, I'll troll for sure though. But I'd rather anchor.
Well, and when I was fishing against you guys on the national scene, that was my goal. That was the only thing I knew how to do was anchor. I didn't even have any boards, and I
Yeah.
realized the importance down there on Clarksville when I got my butt whooped. I realized the importance of having boards, and when they shut the current down and lowered the water 3 feet overnight, I
Yeah.
realized the importance of being able to drag and stuff.
Oh yeah. There's definitely times where you have to drag or if you want to catch fish.
Right. All right, Trevor, you're good. We can hear you now. Take it away.
Well, I mean, I want to go back to the trail and talk a little bit about the trail itself and what's going on. We've done give these guys enough spotlight and know they're good enough. They're going to be in the top 2 or 3 everywhere they go fishing. So I want to get your guys' ideas on, well, not get your ideas, but just tell everybody that might watch this what your goal for the trail is. I know what I've liked out of it is I like how everyone can be like who they are. No, there's no forced agenda when you show up to the trail, like a captain's meeting or at the weigh-in or whatever. We're not trying to get you to be somebody you're not. If you want to come up and say, that dude fucking cut me off, then that's what you can say. I like that, how it's just everybody's real, man. There's no bullshit, and it's right here. It's local, and everybody's going to be able to go to everywhere and travel, real close within a couple hours of each lake. I don't think is there a lake more than 2 hours from the other lake? I don't think there is there?
No.
Probably not.
Other than the Sandusky Bay, and it's going to be close. I mean, it's not too bad, really. So, and then the championship down the river, I think, was a great idea. So, I like the idea of just everybody's going to. It's just everyone uses that cliche catchphrase of, well, it's like family. It's like family. Bullshit. It ain't like family, but it can be like bros, and it can be like hanging out and having a good time and being who you are. And that's what I think we're going to captivate with this interstate trail here. What are you guys' thoughts on that, Jimmy? I know you're a good old boy's boy. What do you think about just having a trail where you can just, you got that points race, you got that feel of the national trail, but you show up and you are who you are, and you cut up and hang out with everybody.
Yeah, I like it like that a lot. Like you said, we've done the big trails and stuff like that, but just being close to home is nice too. But it's just being out there and you know, be yourself.
Right.
You
Right.
know?
It's that tight knit national trail feel. And I tell you another thing that I like is how, you know, these lakes are pretty close together, and we're going to pull some people from, I think, you know, Pennsylvania, Indiana, Kentucky. There's a lot of nice fishing in Ohio. There's a lot of good fishing in Ohio that's underrated. People don't realize how good of some of this fishing is. I mean, I know Hoover's an excellent blue cat fishery. There's also some blue cats in like Seneca, other lakes like that. And all of our rivers, man, like the Muskingum, the Ohio, there's giant flatheads there. I know we don't have any on the Muskingum this year, but I'm sure that's coming. There's flatheads in these lakes. You got lakes in the state where there's giant flatheads. I mean, lakes like Buckeye Lake where you can go catch 1 million fish. It's a good time. We're all, I think, solid lakes. And each year, you know, that'll change from time to time. And I think with that 3-man committee, I know that we'd let the anglers pretty much pick this first year, but I think it'll be that 3-man committee picking from here on out. And, you know, tried and true here in the state of Ohio, you know where to go and where gives the guys the best opportunity to catch the best fish. And I think people are going to be shocked the size of the weights at some of these fish. I mean, if it's not a channel cat tournament, you got a chance to have a 100-pound bag. And even on the national level, a 100-pound bag that's a good bag.
Yeah, I think so. And like I said, when I started this thing, when I sat in my living room, what happened was I went to Deer Creek, fished against a couple buddies, and we all threw $20 in, and I was the only one to catch a fish. So I'm like, man, we need to do this weekly. Let's do this $20 little deal with your buddies. And then I got to thinking, and I'm like, I loved the national. I'm sorry, I was reading a comment. I loved the national trail feel when I was traveling all over, and it wasn't even the money for me. It was just the competition. And then I'll tell you what, I started fishing Willie Smith's tournaments, and there's some good fishermen in Willie Smith's tournaments. And I got to thinking about it, and I'm like, man, these guys, they're not on the national level. Oh, they're not on the national level anymore. They're a lot of these guys said they had fished the national level, and they had come back to the local level, because when you're on that national stage, it is all about me, and I'm talking over the whole thing. Some of the fishermen, some of the directors, it's all about what can we do to promote just our trail. And I didn't want that. When I sat down, I started thinking about this. I wanted to bring that camaraderie, that group of cat fishermen together here in the state of Ohio, but I wanted them to feel like they were fishing in a tournament series that's going all over the country, doing whatever it is, you know. I wanted them to feel, that's why we have the points race. And at the end of the points race, that's why we have the points race that leads to a championship, because that's what I wanted. I mean, I wanted people to compete for that first spot in the points race. And this year, the points race is going to pay $1,000. It's sponsored by Sizzle Marine. That doesn't mean that next year it won't pay $10,000 or $5,000. I mean, as this thing grows, and my vision for this thing is that it competes with those national trail events, but you never have to drive more than 2 hours to go fishing.
And I guess we don't even really have a national trail in this country, but you know, there's trails that are bigger that go to several states. There's a few of those that do that. I don't think anyone's covering the whole nation that can actually consider themselves a national trail, but like just that bigger tournament feel in one state, I think is what we were going for. And
there's a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline right now. I mean, right. I've got some really good sponsors lined up for next year, and I can give you my word that if you live in the state of Ohio, there will be a tournament within an hour of your house. And I don't care where you live. We will have a tournament within an hour of your house somewhere in the state next year. I can't give all the details on that, but what's coming for next year it's big. I mean, it's big. And the one thing that I don't want people to think is I'm not in competition with all of the other people that are running tournament trails in Ohio. I don't want that at all. I love that. I mean, a couple of them called me. I moved my schedule around to accommodate what they had going on. That's not what I'm going for. I want to be able to fish every weekend. That's my goal. I want to be able to fish a tournament every weekend. And I was like, you know what better way to do it than just make sure that there's a tournament that somebody can fish every weekend.
You know, and I think you've done all the things to make a trail that guys are going to want to fish, and that guys are just going to be like I think they're going to feel that it's refreshing. Guys, it's been fishing local tournaments for a long time because they're all kind of the same. Just a lot of the things I don't really like. And I think the way you've set this up and the way you use three different people to set it up, it just gave a perspective, from different angles to put together something that people are really going to like. And I really think you put it together just great. And we had the first one a couple weeks ago, and it went great. And I really think this thing will take off, and I think people are going to like it if they just give it a try.
Well,
Oh, for sure, man. That speaks volumes for. I think he had how many boats did you have at Deer Creek? 15 or 16?
14 boats.
Yeah. So, and that was within like a week notice of
It was like 4 days.
Yeah, 4 days. So, the sky's the limit. I think what's cool about this trail is, you got guys that will hold smaller trails in the state where they might be fishing CJ Brown one week and then Hoover the next week and then back to CJ Brown and back to Hoover.
Yeah.
That repetition type stuff happens, but going somewhere different, on every stop is what's cool. And then having that be a race.
Absolutely.
So that's going to be a feel that Ohio has not really ever had. I know there's a couple trails that's got point races, but they're not really going all over the state. They pick a few pools and that's where they stay. This one's going to be cool, man. It's going to be cool to see what happens and see how it pans out throughout the year and see who joins. And I'm sure we'll get, like I said, I think we'll have plenty of boats. The Sandusky Bay event on August the 12th. If you haven't seen that there is one, here's your chance. You know that there is one now. August the 12th, there's going to be a sweet event up there. Hopefully we have a bunch of boats. It'd be cool to have 50 boats up there. You never can. You hate to always put a number on it, but man, 50 boats. I feel like you could make happen. As my naked toddler walks through the house, that's hilarious. Dude, put some clothes on. That's hilarious.
On that Sandusky tournament, I wanted to touch on that for a minute. We actually do have a sponsor that says if we get 50 boats, he's going to add $500 to Big Fish. So if we can pull 50 boats, he's going to put $500 of his own money on the Big Fish. So that
I wouldn't be shocked.
That'd be pretty cool, I think. And the Junior, better get that podcast room set back up, bud.
He done ran out. And
another thing I think is really cool that we talked about earlier is the way you got the points set up. Most people, the points are usually the same, and the way you got it set up really adds something to it, and it makes it's funner and it's more exciting, especially down the road. The way the points are, it's not the old 1 point less or more than the other. First and second place is getting what they deserve, and it's real. I just think it's a cool idea, and it's going to be neat to see how it plays out.
I can't take 100% credit for that. Trevor and I have talked about that 100 times. Back when I was fishing the National Trail, him and I had talked about how the point system just made no sense. There was no gratification to getting first place other than a check, because the guy behind you was only 1 point behind you, and I did not want that. That's why there's a 10-point separation from first to second and a 5-point separation from second to third. And like I said earlier, that just gives the guy at the end of the year in third place, that just gives him a chance. He can jump up. If he gets first place in Big Fish, he can jump up 15 points.
Yeah.
Which is why if you look right now, Hunter Wallace, who took first in the last one, is 15 points ahead of you guys, and you took second. But if this was the National Trail that I was fishing, or most trails that have a point system, and you're 15 points behind, you might hang it up. You might as well hang it up.
Yeah,
if you're 15 points behind with only 9 tournaments to go, you can't do any good.
That's why I say it's going to be fun to see how this plays out as the tournaments go on. It's just a really cool idea.
And it gives that. And somebody said, well, the problem is you're giving somebody an opportunity to run away with it. Well, if somebody wins first in 5 events, they deserve to run away with it.
Pretty much.
That means they worked their tails off. They did what other people couldn't, and they deserve to run away with it. And in my opinion, if I were able to do that and I took first place, I don't want to be 5 points ahead of the guy behind me. There's really not much bragging rights there. But if I blow this thing out of the water and I'm 60 points ahead of the next person behind me, then there's some bragging rights. Coming into next season, you're like, oh, well, he was 60 points ahead in the points race last year.
Then you got an intimidation factor going with you.
Right. So I think the way we have it set up, when you and me and Joe, we sat down, we went through all those rules that I wrote and we changed them. But as I told you guys, and as I told a lot of people who were asking, the time to change everything was before we fished Deer Creek. Everything's in
Absolutely.
concrete. Everything's in concrete now. Yeah, I mean the
Yep.
anglers picked the lakes; those aren't going to change. You and I and Joe agreed on the rules. I mean, it was down to the last hour. We took it to the 11th hour, but I posted the finalized rules right before we fished at Deer Creek, and none of that's going to change. I mean, the one thing I cannot stand is for a rule to change mid-season.
Oh yeah.
We've had that happen to us a lot, and
Oh yeah. We know what that's like.
yeah,
I think all four of us sitting here have seen it happen.
yes.
But with what the rules are and everything you got set up, even going into next year, after learning from the first year, I don't think there'll be much change. There might be some, but I don't think there'll be very much that's changed.
No,
I think it's that put together that well.
That's why, you have what, 30 years in fishing, catfishing, 20 years in tournaments, I think you said, or something like that. Joe has
Yeah.
10 years of tournament fishing. I don't have that much in tournament fishing, but I also looked at other trails like Lisa's right here. I just pinned her comment. I looked at their rules. I looked at probably 30 different set of rules. I found all the ones that are in common, like the basic ones, you can't, and another rule that I changed is, so like, a lot of these trails, if you get a speeding ticket on your boat, you're disqualified. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with disqualifying somebody for a speeding ticket. If you get a wildlife violation because you were stuffing walleye with weights, well, then I'm going to have to disqualify you. But if you're speeding or you get a trailer ticket or something like that, we got stopped at the last tournament by ODNR, and there was a lot of guys that may have been missing a whistle or a flag. I'm surely not going to turn those guys away at the boat ramp and tell them they can't fish.
Yeah.
So that's why I changed that rule. So you have to get a wildlife violation, or another one would be drinking on the boat. But that's a whole nother rule. It says no alcohol or drugs in use during the tournament. So that's kind of where I went with that. I looked at a lot of rules, and I kind of plucked from those rules of the ones that are common. But I shook them up a little bit as well. I shook up the rules to where I want this to be for the anglers. I know every tournament trail says that we're a family. This is for the anglers. Well, this is truly for the anglers. I don't make a dollar in doing any of this. I've put a lot of my own money into it, a lot of my own time, and I don't want to make any money doing this. That's not why I'm doing this. I wanted to bring that national tournament trail feel to Ohio. And truly, at the end of the year, maybe not this year, but I'll tell you, at the end of next year, the person who wins our tournament trail, the person that walks away with the trophy at the end of the year, can truly say he's probably the best fisherman in Ohio. He or she would be the best fisherman in Ohio. I truly believe that because of what I have coming down the pipeline. I mean, it's truly going to feel like a national or a state championship when you win this thing next year.
And that's why everybody does it. Nobody cares about the money. It's all about the trophy and the bragging rights and to say, look what I did. Look what I've done.
You're right.
I'll say when you're looking, there's a lot of people that's had successful tournament trails. I know that you said that you talked to Lisa and looked at some of her stuff. A lot of good guys out there, man, that's done it for a long time and know what they're doing and still have a great reputation. I mean, guys like Alex Nagy with Twisted Cat, dude, that dude's been doing it for a long time, and he has a lot of respect in the catfish world. So you take a little piece of everybody of what they're doing and throw it, all the good ones, and throw it right there toward your trail, and you can't fail. I mean, you just can't fail. You just got to do what you say you're going to do, and don't make any false promises, man. It can't fail. I mean, everybody's wanting a state championship, like you just said. Everybody wants that feel, and this is it. It's finally here for Ohio.
Right, and we've Craig and I have talked about this extensively about all of the little trails that there's 5 lakes in Ohio that get overfished, and they get fished and fished and fished and fished.
Yeah,
and I'm happy to say that one of them made their way into our tournament trail. And again, I didn't pick the lakes this year. Next year I am picking the lakes only because there's a lot of tournaments. I mean, we're going to be north of 15 tournaments next year. So, and the way that I'm setting it up, I want to make sure that from corner to corner in Ohio, everybody has the chance to fish one of our tournaments and not have to drive more than an hour. There's still going to be a points race. You're going to have to fish more events to qualify for it. And the points race, I'm hoping next year at the end of the year we're taking the top 25 to the championship. But it's everything that's in the pipeline and working right now is working great. I mean, everything's moving slow. It's moving right. And we I lost my train of thought. It's moving. I'm trying to read comments at the same time.
Well, I see Lisa just said something about Alex, so she agrees. He's a good one. He's been doing it for a long time. It's hard not to be your mentor when he's been doing it for as long as he had. He just pulled, just so you guys know, I don't even know if you guys know this, Jimmy and Craig, but he just pulled 63 boats in Cape Girardeau.
Wow.
Dude, that's a heck of a tournament, man.
Yeah.
That's the biggest one I've heard of on the national scene. Not unless you're doing the Cat Masters or the ones down in Vicksburg, things like that. But for the actual traveling national trail, I texted him. I said, dude, what an accomplishment. I mean, 63 boats, that's unbelievable. Andy, I don't obviously I don't have any. November 18th is as late as we're going this year. Winter tournaments are hard. A lot of guys, I mean, I don't know what kind of turnout we'd have for winter tournaments. It's definitely something I'm into exploring. But I think every year we're going to wrap up in November. But we could, I mean, that's not saying we couldn't throw a couple side tournaments going on in November, December. But for me, November, December, January, February, and March, there's only one river I fish. I do it once a month, and I take an 8-hour drive east to fish it. So the James River has my time in the winter. But that's not saying we can't have an event here and there, or as this thing grows. I mean, it's all about the anglers. So, I mean,
That'd have to be on the higher river though, because I mean, you're not really going to have much going on in the inland lakes in Ohio in the winter. I mean, that's really just not feasible. I mean, you could have 30 boats go out there and have 5 fish come in, or none.
I mean, it could be a thing where we do our regular trail, we wrap it up in November, and then we do a winter bowl or a winter trail, where we do 5 tournaments in the winter, 4 tournaments in the winter, or whatever.
Something on the river, something, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be fine with that.
Well, it's in the right direction. Do you have a rundown of all the lakes, Corey, in front of you of where they're going to be?
I don't have it in front of me. Amber, bring me your phone. She's in here listening. I'll look on Amber's phone. I don't have it in front of me now.
Yeah, because I know. So this coming week, which is next Saturday, is going to be in Springfield at CJ Brown, and we're not muskie fishing. We're trying to catch catfish there. So
CJ Brown is an underrated catfishery. It really is. I mean, I've fished it one time this last spring with Travis, and we caught some. But there's a lady that was commenting on my post today, and I was going through all of her posts. She has multiple 50 fish nights. Multiple.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, anywhere in Ohio, to be honest, that is stocked with channel cats, man, you could go catch a bunch of them. I've had those type nights at lakes like Deer Creek or Paint Creek. You just catch them until you're tired of catching them and go home. So, I mean, Ohio's underrated in general as a fishery, just in general, man. A lot of good water here.
And a lot of lakes don't get tournaments. You know, it's just the same lakes get the tournaments over and over.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's why I wanted to spread it out, and that's why I took people's feel on where we wanted to fish. And anybody who was watching the votes when we were picking lakes, anybody who didn't see it in the last 15 minutes, Rocky Fork got knocked off, Indian Lake got knocked off, Seneca jumped in, Salt Fork jumped in. I mean, those are lakes that don't.
Buckeye Lake got rode in and was the top lake.
Yeah.
Which,
so it's
again, Buckeye Lake's not it ain't going to be a big fish factory. You may get a big one there, but you're going to go there and catch 100.
And I think that's what people want, like when we fish all those tournaments on the river and catch 3 fish, it's fun. Yeah. But a day catching 100 fish, that's why the Sandusky Bay tournaments pull so many, because you go up there and catch 50 fish during the tournament.
Yep, that's exactly right.
So let's run down this schedule real fast. I'm going to get Trevor a laptop so that he can do the things he used to, but
I used to have a laptop.
Huh?
I used to have a laptop.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you another one. So, obviously this weekend we're at CJ Brown. I'm excited to fish it, and I tell you, I have talked to 21 people that have confirmed they're coming. That doesn't count the people. Every time I post something, I share it into 70 Facebook groups. So, how many people are seeing it? My engagement on my page for the week, I looked it up right before we got on here. 210,000 people have looked at my page. So surely we can pull 50 out of 210,000, right?
We
So
hope. That's
I
what
think
you always hope.
CJ Brown is going to be a good one. I really do. It's a great fishery. A lot of these lakes are going to be channel cat weigh-ins, and I'm okay with that. But CJ Brown has big flatheads in it. I've seen them when I was out there bow fishing. I've seen giant flatheads in there. So I wouldn't be surprised if a 40-pound flathead made its way to the scales on Saturday. I'm not going to be targeting him, so it'll put me right out of the run. But
All right, hey, run down this schedule so we can get out of here because my phone's about to die.
All right, so this weekend we got CJ Brown. It's a night tournament. The next weekend we've got Sandusky Bay. It's a day tournament. The captain's meeting is going to be at Shelby Street, and then it'll be a trailering event. I don't want everybody to have to launch from Shelby Street. September 2nd, we're on Griggs. That's a night tournament. There is another tournament trail fishing O'Shaughnessy that night. I need to talk with him. I think it'd be kind of cool to take like our top 5 finishers and his top 5 finishers and put them at a different lake and let them fish. That way there's incentive to fish both. I don't want one or the other to pull all the anglers. September 16th is Salt Fork. That's a night tournament. After Salt Fork, we've got September 23rd, which is Seneca, which is a day tournament. Then we've got October 7th is on Buckeye Lake as a night tournament. October 14th is Dillon, which is a night tournament. October 21st is Hoover, which is a day tournament. And just a side note, we'll be knocking that down to a 3-fish limit. There aren't guys out there that can haul 5 big fish around in their live wells. November 18th, we'll do the Best of the Ohio Championship. We do not know what pool of the lake,
The river.
or what pool of the river we'll be on for that. What we're going to do, just the same fashion we did when we picked the lakes this year, we're going to let the 10 anglers that qualify decide where we fish. I would say it's going to be somewhere near West Virginia because it's November and the flathead bite's going to die, but we'll see. I mean, Cincinnati has a lot of blue cats in it too. I was down there last night and we caught all blue cats.
As long as it's not wheeling, we're good.
As long as it's not wheeling. Trevor loves wheeling.
Yeah.
So, but to run everything down on that schedule, we have an Angler of the Points race, or Angler of the Year points race that's running beside it. Sizzle Marine sponsored that. They're going to pay the winner $1,000 of the Angler of the Year race. You have to fish 5 of those events to qualify for the championship. There goes Trevor. His phone died. You got to fish 5 of those events to qualify for the championship. And it's your best 5 finishes for the Angler of the Year point race. So although there's 9 regular season tournaments, 9 qualifiers, you only have to fish 5 to qualify, but you can trade up scores. So if you fish all 9 of them and you start getting better scores, it's your 5 best. So a lot of people were struggling with understanding that, so I wanted to touch on that. But that's the Angler of the Year race. That's what we got going on. We're just excited. I'm beyond excited. I was happy today when Daniel jumped in as the trail sponsor. I've been looking for one of those, so it will forever be known as this year the Mid-Ohio Catfishing Tournament Trail presented by All Ohio Flooring. So
I'm excited too, and it's been a long time since I've been excited about Ohio local tournaments. It really has, but I'm finally pretty excited about this.
Well, I would be too if I was sitting in second place, not fourth.
Well, it'll be first real soon.
You better stop it. Hunter's coming for you, bud. He's bringing his big boat to the next one. I'm sorry. It's All Flooring Ohio. I knew I was going to screw that up. It's All Flooring Ohio. It's going to be Mid-Ohio Catfishing Tournament Trail presented by All Flooring Ohio. He's a flooring company out of Cincinnati. I will tag his Facebook in the post that I do later. But like I said, he's providing us a scale. He's providing lights, all the plaques. He's picking up any sponsorships throughout the year that don't get picked up at the event. So what we're doing is at each event, I try to find a local company to sponsor that event. And that's where that extra money comes in. When I post $200 added into the pot or $250 added into the pot, Daniel's covering any of those that I don't get covered. We're still going to work hard to get those all covered so Daniel doesn't have to. But he stepped up and he saw the financial contributions I was making, and he awesome guy. He took a step forward to help me out, so I really appreciate it.
Yeah, he stepped up big time.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
So he's an awesome guy. We fished last night. Looks like we're going fishing again tonight if you read the comments.
Like I said, I'm sure he's hooked now.
After
if that was his first time last night.
Yeah, and I let him reel in all the fish. He had the time.
Yeah, he's hooked.
So I mean, he was awesome. You know, he was one of the guys. He didn't know much about catfishing. He said, "Hey, I got a boat. I want to learn." And he wasn't that guy that was, "Well, why are you doing this and why are you doing that?" It was, "Teach me how to do this. Teach me how to do that." "Oh, you do it that way? Okay." You know, as I was throwing the net, getting his brand new Sea Arc all nasty and muddy, he's like, "I get it. It's part of the deal." So, no, it was really cool. We're excited. I'm excited to have you guys along. I met you guys on the King Cat Trail. I thought you guys were pretty cool dudes. So I was happy when Craig said he'd be willing to help me with the rules. And I think this thing's going to blow up. I think next year is going to be a big year for this.
I agree.
So anybody in the comments got a question for me or Craig or Jimmy? I can probably answer any questions you had for Trevor. Any questions about the tournament trail? Any questions about the rules? Now's the time to do it. One thing I did change, Craig, that I didn't even consult you guys on because we got our butt kicked at Deer Creek with it, is I'm asking everybody to be at the ramp by 7:30. That way we have time to do a small captain's meeting.
Well, that makes sense anyways. I mean, that's a half hour before it starts.
Right. And all of our rules are they like I said, we plucked a lot of rules from a lot of trails, but we changed them so much. I just want to make sure that we hammer it down. Like, for instance, I gave everybody at the first tournament 25 points because we didn't have time to go over it. But if you don't come to the weigh-in, you don't get the 25 points for being at the tournament. Everybody gets a minimum of 25 points, but if you leave early and you don't come to the weigh-in, you don't get those. So that's kind of what it was with that. So that's why I just wanted everybody to come a little early so that DNR, if they happen to show up, we'll all be there. We can be talking while they're looking through people's boats or whatever. Yeah, Lisa, we do a shotgun start. Everybody takes off at the same time. So, sorry, Andy, what are you sorry about, bud? For Sandusky is signups at the captain's meeting. So, William, I'm going to make a video about Sandusky. I didn't want to take any light away from CJ Brown this week. I really wanted that one to be big because it's right here and local, and there's a lot of people asking questions. But I will do a video about it. And also, we're going to talk about Sandusky in depth next week. But I'm going to be at the ramp. Oh, Andy, you're fine. It wasn't you. It was the ODNR. I'm going to be at the ramp at 5 o'clock in the morning for Sandusky. 4 o'clock in the morning because it starts at 6. So you guys can get there between 4 and 6. I'll check your live well. Make sure you have a copy of the rules. And another thing, anybody who's fishing CJ Brown that hasn't fished before, and Jimmy, because he is horrible at returning messages, I'm going to give you a paper to fill out so I can put you guys on the website as an angler. So unfortunately, Craig gave the captain spot to Jimmy, so he doesn't get a spot on the website. So every captain that fishes the tournament, if you go to the website, which is midohiocatfishing.com, you click on it, it says Our Anglers. There's a picture of you. There's a brief little bio about you. Just something I wanted to throw in that was kind of cool, I thought. I did the website myself, so it didn't cost any extra money. One day when we have 50 boats, I'm probably going to regret it. But for now, it's a really cool idea. So any other questions, guys? If not, we're going to jump off here, and I'm going to head to the river. Anything you want to add, Craig, Jimmy?
No, I think we covered it all.
So we're going to do this every week at 7 o'clock. It'll typically be the winners of the one before. And if the winners can't do it, then I'll go to the second place.
Oh,
Third place
well, if I forgot anything, I'll just bring it up next week. or the week after that. I'm sure we'll be talking some more.
Yeah. Andy, yes. Next year and the following years, my goal is there will not be a person that catfishes in the state of Ohio that we will not be within an hour of their house at a tournament. So the state, I'm trying to do this without giving too much away. I'm splitting the state into regions, and each region will have a certain number of tournaments in it. And then we will all come together on the Ohio River for the state championship. So Andy, you will have tournaments by your house next year. The way I'm doing it, though, you will not be able to qualify for the championship only by fishing by your house. So I don't want to do so many tournaments in one region that you can qualify by never driving more than 30 minutes and being in your home lakes the whole time. That was kind of the hard thing about the national trail I fished. There were so many tournaments in Alabama. You're fishing against so many people on their home water. So I want it to be everybody gets a chance to do good on their home water, but you have to go to the other. You can't. We're not fishing 5 different lakes in Alabama. We're fishing so many lakes in one region, but it's not going to be enough to qualify for the championship. You're going to have to jump regions to be competitive next year, and that's the way I have it set up, and I really think that's going to work.
And that's how you truly find the best fishermen.
I agree with that. You know, if you can, I've said it, and I did it on the King Cat Trail. If you can go all over the country and catch fish, you're a good fisherman. I mean, you may not win every tournament, but if you can weigh fish in at every tournament, I never skunked. Never one time did I not catch a fish. I had my 5 fish at every tournament. And I think that speaks volume to an angler. Go to a water
Oh
you've
yeah.
never been to and catch fish and the only water I've skunked on this year, I've fished 16 different bodies of water this year, and the only water I've skunked on is Gallipolis, where I won last year. So you get comfortable. Craig and I were talking about this. You get comfortable with those waters that you fish every single day, and you just keep going to the same spots over and over. You don't break the lake down. As long as I go to new water, I spend so much time breaking a lake down, I can usually always find fish.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, next year it's going to be a statewide trail. The guys in Ashtabula will have tournaments close to them, as well as the guys in Toledo.
Well, it's almost statewide this year.
No, it's not. It's east. It's state. It's local to you.
You got to count the first 2 tournaments too.
Oh, you're right. The first 3: Deer Creek. You got
Okay.
Deer Creek, CJ Brown, and Sandusky Bay, and then east.
There's only one by me.
Now they're all closer to you than me. You mean you're not having the Ohio Classic in Alabama?
It's on Wheeler.
Yeah.
It's gonna be on Wheeler.
We don't know any different.
That's where everybody goes for the championship, isn't it?
Yes.
So no, I think we got a good thing going. I think we have a really good core group of anglers behind us. Those 14 anglers that fished over there at Deer Creek, 13 minus me, 12 minus you guys, are they seem like they're invested in this. They want to see this thing do good. They want to see it blow up. All of them have said, what can we do to help? So I think we're going to have a core group of anglers that travels around with us. And again, if any of the other Ohio tournament directors are watching this, it is not my goal. It is not my intention. I don't want to shed light on anybody. That's not what I want to do. I think all of us can coexist, and I think we can all support each other. And I think I do a fairly well job on the weeks we're not fishing of promoting other trails, because I know, like me, I want to fish every weekend. So I think I do a really good job of making sure that every weekend I tell everybody where somebody's having a tournament.
And I think it's really good how you taking your 5 best tournaments, because if it wasn't that way, if it was a combined total, there'd be a lot of people that wouldn't come because they know they couldn't fish them all, or even if they knew they would miss one, that'd keep them from coming. So taking your best 5, it really gives everybody a chance in the points.
Right. And I did best 5 this year because I know there's only 9 tournaments, and but I didn't want to do 3 or 4. I wanted to do 5. I mean, it's a lot.
I think 5's a good. I think 5's a good number. Like, no matter how many, but that's a conversation for later on.
Andy, when I saw that you guys are having a tournament up there, I have no problem sharing out where other people are having a tournament. And I hope that other people will do that for us. I know that I kind of came in late in the game, and I did schedule on top of a couple people. I had no idea. There's no way to know who has tournaments where and when. There's no localized system. So we went through, I looked at the trails that I knew of, and Craig and I talked, we adjusted our schedule twice. I didn't want to be on somebody's championship day, so we moved it. We didn't want to be fishing close to one trail while they were on Hoover, so we went clear across the state. So we moved it around, and I know that this year I said 5 tournaments. I put 9 tournaments in, and 5 tournaments is going to be a big dedication for us this year because we came out with a schedule so late. But I think it will be well worth it for anybody who wants and is able to fish 5 tournaments. I really think a win in our trail will be a great mark on a resume in the years to come. What do you think?
I agree. Yeah, I think.
Go ahead.
I think we'll be bringing in some quality fishermen. I really do. Like you said, I think it's going to be a really challenging, tough trail.
Yeah, and we're new, so I know a lot of the big time people, a lot of the guys that still fish national trails, and I don't discourage anybody. I mean, I know you guys aren't coming to Sandusky because you're still fishing a national trail, and that's fine. But I think a lot of those guys are like, let's sit back and see how this goes, see what kind of payouts there is, make sure there's no drama involved. Because I know a lot of people have a lot of big sponsors and they don't want tied up in anything. And you never know what's going to happen. But I hope that everybody sees I'm trying to be as fair as I can. I try to include everybody. That's why I made the 3-judge rule, me, you, and Joe. And next year, I'm even thinking we expand that to 5 because of how big this thing is going to grow. But no matter what, I want everybody to know that I'm doing this the right way. I want everyone to be fair. This is drama free. If you have a problem, you can bring it to me, Craig. You can take it to Jimmy. I'm sure he'll get it to me. But I don't think we're gonna have any. I don't think there's gonna be anyone where we have a big. I don't see any big issues coming about. It's the rules are very clear. The big things are dead fish and live well restrictions and things like that. But we've covered all that.
Yeah, I don't either. And if there does something come up, I think it'll be easily resolved.
Right. I mean, everything about us is on the up and up. The money's good. The fishing's good. You
I
ain't got to
mean, I
worry
know,
about none of that.
like you said, you're not looking for any reasons to throw someone out or disqualify someone,
Oh, no. I want as many boats as I can get.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not. That's not it at all. I want everybody to come and fish. I saw John said we need to do a couple kids tournaments. We do run a kids tournament alongside of our adults tournament. So the winning youth at the end of the night gets a free jersey from Hillbilly Sublimation and Towels. So last tournament winner was kid's name slipping my mind. His dad's name's Nate.
I don't remember his name
Hunter.
either.
His name was Hunter. So it was a night of hunters last week. Hunter, and Hunter. They all won something. So yeah, I think we're trying to keep everything on the up and up. We're doing everything right. We got some big names behind us. In All Flooring, Ohio, and Sizzle Marine. The Sandusky Bait Company sponsored the Sandusky event along with Hammer Time Lures. I mean, we're doing everything right. I'm calling. I'm telling people what we got going on. So I don't know if you guys ever come up with a way that I can run this thing any better, or me and Craig and Joe can run this thing any better. Surely let me know, because this is for you guys. This is for the anglers. I'm not making any money in this. I don't want to make any money in this. In fact, when I added everything up with the sponsorship from Ohio Ridge Outdoors last time, we paid out 192%. So I mean, that's, you guys paid in $1,100. We paid out $3,200. So I mean, I thought that was, well, I don't know very many people doing that.
There's not.
And like for Deer Creek, I was the event sponsor for Deer Creek. I covered the extra $200. I bought the plaques. I'm paying for all the T-shirts that I'm giving all the people who fish Deer Creek when they bring an extra boat. So I mean, I'm not in this to make money. Maybe I can win one or two and win some money back, but
Hey,
even if
You
not,
beat us first.
Didn't Trevor say he's adding $500 to this next tournament?
Oh, is that what Trevor said?
I think he did. It might have been 1,000, but I'm not sure. We'll have to ask him.
1,000 if he got off early, and he did.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, I heard it was only if he wins he'll add $500.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. But no, I appreciate you guys coming on here. Like I said, I think we got a great group going on. I think everything's going in the right direction. And the comments in here tonight make me think that everybody thinks we're going in the right direction. The people who have reached out, they've called, they've messaged, they've texted. This thing's going to be big. So I think CJ Brown will be a turning point for us. I really do. I think we're going to see a good number of boats at CJ Brown.
Good deal.
Yeah, we appreciate everything you've done for us.
Well, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all the people in the comments. I appreciate the anglers. I'm going to keep chipping away. If there's anybody in here, I'm just going to put it out there. If there's anybody in here who wants to sponsor the trail, just shoot me a message. We are still looking for a sponsor for the championship. That's $1,000 sponsorship, or any of the events that aren't currently sponsored. That's a $250 sponsorship. So $250, and then it'll be stop number. Say for instance, you did this one, it would be stop number 2, CJ Brown, presented by whoever. So cool. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody in the comments. It's Gallipolis, Ohio tournament on your trail. We do not have one in Gallipolis this year, Lisa, but we will have a Gallipolis tournament next year. I'm already in talks with them.
We might possibly have one this year.
Oh, our championship might end up there. Our championship is undecided right now. So, but we have a month between the last tournament and the championship to decide where we're going to have it. Are you going to fish it, Lisa, when we go there next year? Adam, I appreciate you, buddy. You coming to CJ, Adam? I'll make sure there's one in Gallipolis next year, Lisa. If you and Terry make the drive up to fish it, and bring some skipjack with you.
Yeah. A whole bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't fish the championship this year, but I will make sure it's on next year. I'll make sure Gallipolis on it. We will have. We're gonna have down south. There's gonna be multiple. You could, Lisa. There's enough tournaments down along the Ohio River. You could qualify for the championship next year. I can't give too much away. She said I knew there was a catch. So, all right, guys, I got to get off here. Daniel's sitting over there waiting. I promise these things are going to go an hour, and we're a minute over. I appreciate your guys' time. I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate all the support. I really appreciate you, Craig. I mean, you've been instrumental in helping this thing go along, and I look forward to what you and I and Joe and Jimmy and everybody can do as we move forward.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
You get out there and get you some more practice tonight because you're going to need it.
I'm not going to PJ Brown. I'm going to the river. I don't pre-fish. I just show up and win.
I wish I could just go fishing whenever I wanted.
I don't go fishing all night and then work for 8 hours and get no sleep.
I can't believe you're doing it again for the second night in a row.
Well, I got a little bit of sleep. I got 2 hours of sleep.
Yeah, that's usually what I get during tournaments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jimmy knows. Not all of us get to go home and cuddle up and sleep all day, Craig.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
All day.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Some of us got to go to bed. We got to work tomorrow.
Well, I got to get on the river. So we'll see you
All
guys.
right, man. Good
We'll
luck.
see you guys Saturday. Thanks, everybody. Same time next week, 7 p.m. We'll be talking to the winners. Won't be Craig and Jimmy, but we'll have somebody on here. See ya.
Later.